Hey everyone, Lorenzo Murray here with your home team at Hunt Real Estate, and I have with me today Tom Julien with Capital Home Inspections. Been using Tom for many, many years. I've been in the industry since the early 2000s, and Tom has been with me every step of the way. So Tom, thanks for chatting it up with me today.
My pleasure, absolutely.
So first and foremost, we know that the inspection process is an important part of the buying process. What are you seeing out there for buyers today? What should they be looking out for from an inspection standpoint?
Well, what a buyer has to know is what they do and don't know. So if you're an experienced handyman, you know things about houses, you have family that know things about houses, that's a help. If you don't know anything at all about a house, the home inspection is there for you, and you've got to learn to ask questions if you're not getting the right answers, and just look at everything from top to bottom. That's what experience does for you.
So you bring up a good point. I think a lot of times with first-time home buyers, they usually bring somebody along that they feel comfortable with. And can you talk about how that may or may not impede on what you're trying to do and accomplish on that day?
Right, so different home inspectors have different philosophies or ways in which they go about it. My philosophy is I work for the home buyer. If they have questions, I'm there to answer it. That being said, I do have a process that I need to stick to, and that's on me to make sure that I go through my routine so that I get to see everything that needs to be seen. Starting on the outside of the house, look at everything from the foundation through the roof. Then what I like to do when I get in the house is go right up to the attic. Check the ventilation, the insulation, the structure, everything above. Then go room by room through every room, check all the bathrooms, kitchen, run all the water hard, finish in the basement. There's so much to be seen there. Foundation, beams, posts, joists, and then all your mechanicals, electric, plumbing, heating. And I encourage buyers through the process to ask questions. I'll try and answer them there, and if we can't answer them there, we'll do follow-up later. Then the next day, I take a lot of pictures along the way, I write it all up, and the client's going to get a written report that your attorney, and the clients can talk through and follow up with.
So in that inspection report comes, and I've been on many inspections with you, and the thing I love the most about that is there's nothing in the report that the buyer hasn't already heard, but now it's written. And sometimes those things can be daunting. They've got the report, they've slept on it, they've looked it over. Outside of the major defects, which we'll talk about later, what should they do with that report? Let's say they decide to proceed forward and buy the home. How should they use that report afterwards?
I have actually had people come to me years later and say that they use the report as a to-do list and prioritize what should be done sooner rather than later, and try and estimate if you've got 5 to 10 years left in your roof, or if you have 2 or 3 years left, and the estimated life of a water heater so that they can budget and plan going forward.
Excellent.
But people have definitely told me that over the years they've used them as a to-do list.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best tools. Tom, how long have you been a home inspector?
I have been doing this dedicated 25 years. I started in the 1980s renovating old buildings. So prior to that, I was in there doing it, gutting, rebuilding, and managing apartment houses, but full-time doing home inspections about 25 years.
And on the heels of that, so you've been renovating buildings, you've gone through that.
Yep.
We're standing in a renovated in a building that's about to go through renovation right now. Tom, tell me about the properties you've owned. How many properties do you own now, and how many have you owned over the years?
Well, over the years, I've owned, I'm going to say probably 200 apartments. It was all in the city of Albany, renovating everything from a gut renovation. I've done, back in 1983, I bought 3 wrecked buildings built by Julien Van Rensselaer III in 1838. Did a historic renovation into 9 apartments from top to bottom, got historic credits, and I've been in Center Square, Pine Hills. Today, I do not have that much in the way of inventory, but through the years, I've had quite a few apartments. So I have a lot of experience, not only in the construction, but the management of apartment houses.
Flip side. So, Tom, I'm a homeowner. I own my home. I want to put it on the market. My realtors come to me and told me, what the process looks like. I know that most likely a buyer is going to come through and do a home inspection on my home. What should I do to prepare myself to put my home on the market from your perspective?
It's good idea in both markets, whether it's a seller's market or it's buyer's market. And I've actually been doing a lot of those. So it's a pre-sale inspection, especially if it's somebody that's been in their home for 30 or 40 years and they don't see what they don't see anymore. They look right past things. And I'll go through and do a home inspection as if I was working for someone buying it. But then we'll talk about all the issues that I'm seeing and what will come up or not come up in a home inspection. The important thing to understand is that not all home inspectors are the same. Some do things differently than others. And then the realtor is very important in that process of what we're talking about right now, because some things just aren't worth spending money on prior to a listing, and some are. And some people are reluctant to spend money, and some aren't, and some just don't have the budget. So it's a very important process. If you haven't done it in a while, if you've been in a home for 30 or 40 years, it's a good idea to do a pre-sale.
What are 3 tips you have for buyers and sellers as it relates to inspections? What would you say your top 3 things you need to do?
So one of the things that I think is really important, and people don't think about it often enough, especially realtors and buyers who aren't experienced, is be prepared. A seller is supposed to do a property disclosure, and there's a lot of good information in there. And quite often I will ask the question, do you know how old the roof is? And everyone will go, I don't know. And whereas sometimes it's written in there, and then you'll know if it has a septic system or public sewer. There's a litany of questions, so be prepared. And then as part of that, know what you don't know, and don't be shy. I tell clients all the time, if you have questions, ask me, whether it's today, tomorrow, driving home, or a year from now. Ask, because that's what we're here for. So that's 2. What would be the third one? Don't be afraid to follow up. So if there's, like you had asked, what's in the report, there's going to be some things that you just don't know on the day of the inspection, because a home inspection is a visual inspection. At that point, we don't own it. We're not allowed to cut open walls and things like that. And there could be hidden things that you're going to find later, but don't be afraid to do that.
The man, the myth, the legend, everyone. Tom Julien, thank you so much for coming out. I truly appreciate it.
So,